Okay, so let's try to solve this problem where we need to modify the stylings for the input type email. Okay, so let's start with the first approach, which is called as styling inline. Okay, so let's go to our code. So here I have the Visual Studio Code open here on the left side, and this is the browser where we'll see the actual results. Okay, now let's try to add inline styling. So for inline styling, what we need to do is we need to define the attribute called as style, and then whatever styles you want to provide, you can just give it as a key value pair. So let's say I want to add width, which is 300 pixels. Okay, now we need to add one more style, right? So the approach to add one more style is you add a semicolon. Okay, so that tells the browser that okay, there may be an additional stylings that will follow. Okay, and then the next styling is border. It will be, so we know it's gonna be 5 pixel in width, the type is solid, and the color is blue. Okay, if you save this, you should immediately see the changes. If you go right click and try to inspect this, you should see that okay, the width is 20 pixels, the border is 5 pixels solid blue, because we just inspected this element only, right? This is the output HTML, and this is the uh, styling that is applied. Okay, so let's try to remove this. Okay, let's close this. Sure. Now this is the inline styling approach. Okay, let's go with the another, which is called as in-page approach. So when I say in-page approach, what I mean is, see, I want you to be very clear with this border property. Okay, it's a unique property which accepts three values, right? If I remove these values, here it accepts the width in pixels. Okay, uh, the next values, it accepts the type. It can be anything, dashed or solid, or it can be dotted, any of these things. Okay, and then the color of the border. Okay, so if I remove this blue, it is usually the color of the border. You just have to write the color. Okay, so it accepts three values: 1 space, 2 space, 3. Okay, this is a unique property. It's actually a mixture of three properties called border type, border size, and border color that we'll cover in later stages. Okay, let's move to in-page styling. Okay, in-page styling or internal styling means what you do is, inside head tag you define a new tag called style. Inside this style you add whatever the expected style is. So our expected style was width was 300 pixel, and the border was 5 pixel solid blue. Okay, now we have written the style, but we have not linked this style with this particular element. Okay, now there are multiple ways to link this particular styling with this element that we're gonna see in the next session for the selectors. So for now, just we will link this styling using the id. So let's copy this id from here. Let's, before this styling block, paste it. Okay, and now we need to tell the browser that this is a id. So how do we do that? We add a hash here. So once I add hash here, when the browser will come across this style block, it will understand okay, I need to apply some stylings. Then it will immediately see this hash. So when it sees hash, it knows that the browser has to look for an element with an id attribute. Okay, so it finds two elements that have an id attribute. Then it wants to find an element the with id value is user input email. So in this case, this is the element it finds. So okay, now the browser has found the element, it can apply the stylings. Okay, if the browser is not able to find this element, let's say you make some spelling mistake here, emails. Okay, and you save this, so your styling will be gone because the browser is trying to find this ID, but it's not present in the entire document, so it will not get applied. So you have to be very sure what you're trying, what you're typing. One recommendation is always copy and paste this thing, so it avoids, or basically it will stop you from making human errors, simple errors. So in the next video we'll see the two about selectors and all those things, or the remaining way to apply styles from an external CSS file.